Welcome to Midweek Politics. I'm David Pakman, and it's the week of September 16th, 2009. Please visit our website, midweekpolitics.com, and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/midweekpolitics. Lewis, I have to say, the response is good to Midweek Politics TV, and we'll be launching really shortly on a bunch of cable access stations, and we're just kind of getting the kinks worked out. But I don't know, I'm getting used to having the cameras are friendly now. I don't feel like they're any kind of a threat or in any way off-putting having them in the studio.
They seem a little intrusive to me.
You think that shrinks the studio down even smaller than it is?
Unfortunately.
So, well, I don't know. I guess we'll keep an eye on whether we need to put even more cameras in here, whether we need to get rid of them. Maybe we need to have someone sit right next to you during the show just to be even more intrusive or whatever. What's going on? I can see that we have an eye situation. And I don't know if we want to tell our listeners, Lewis may be applying eye drops throughout the show. So if you see him doing that, we'll do our best to cut to him because our audience will not want to miss a minute of that, I can assure you. So you had almost like holes punched in the cornea. Is that right?
More of a scraping. They kind of scraped off, quite a bit of it.
And this is because the tear ducts weren't working right.
No, because my cornea, which cells in my cornea were sticking to my eyelid, and my eyelid was pulling them off.
The cells were sticking to the eyelid.
Right. So they hope they scrape it all off, underneath that area,
right,
and hope that it grows over, correctly.
Painful?
Very painful.
And so I'm guessing the doctor didn't say it would be painful. He probably said there's a certain amount of discomfort associated with it, or whatever which
right.
We know now is it's painful.
Right. They use that word, discomfort. This will be uncomfortable.
Right. Uncomfortable. Right.
Like sitting in this chair is uncomfortable. Having my cornea scrapes a little different.
Right, absolutely. And so now you have a contact lens in, but it's not a prescription lens.
Right, it's like a bandage lens.
Right, gotcha. All right, well, we'll keep an eye on it, and I will.
Excuse the pun.
I will do what we can for our audience. If you do start applying eye drops, our editor will know to cut to you, and because we don't want to miss a minute of that. Okay, where to start? A little bit later, we'll be speaking to a doctor about single-payer healthcare, whether that's a good idea, whether that's a bad idea. Is single-payer healthcare working in other countries? Is it not? We hear a lot about that. That's coming up a little bit later. A few Barack Obama things going on that I want to talk about. Neil Bortz is a name that you may have heard if you listen to the show, but even though we haven't talked about him too much recently that I really remember, he compared Barack Obama to a child molester on his Twitter account the other day. He actually said, Obama on Wall Street today. That's like sending a young child molester. That's like sending a child molester to speak to a kindergarten class. And I get it. He's not actually saying Barack Obama is a child molester, but he is literally comparing Barack Obama to a child molester. And understandably, a lot of people aren't too thrilled about this. Neil Bortz is the same guy. I wonder if we have anything of his. We have him talking about Spain under Islamic law. I guess this is somewhat delusional.
I would be willing to put money that Spain will be operating under Islamic law within 10 years.
Okay, well, that was about 4 years ago. So we're down to 6 years left. Will Spain be operating under Islamic law in 10 years? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyway, so Neil Bortz, Barack Obama is like a child molester in some way, shape, or form. Interesting comparison. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Mark Williams. He is a teabagger. And he says Barack Obama, and this, I'm glad you're sitting, Lewis, and you should be. I don't try to stand during this. Barack Obama is an Indonesian Muslim turned welfare thug and racist in chief. This is what he says. If you're not familiar with Mark Williams, let me remind you a little bit about who he is. He previously said, do you remember, Lewis, Casey Sheehan, Cindy Sheehan's son, who was killed, I believe, in Iraq, and for a while Cindy Sheehan was kind of this peace activist, so on and so forth. He said about that entire situation, she is aiding and abetting the enemies of this country and the people who killed her son. And right now, Casey Sheehan is spinning in his grave. On Katrina victims, he said they didn't have the necessary brains and common sense to get out of the way of a Category 5 hurricane. And then when it hit them, they stood on the side of the convention center expiring while reporters were coming and going. Of course, that was considered sickening and atrocious by many. This is the same guy. Now he has become a teabagger. No surprise. to any of us. He was on with Anderson Cooper, and he literally tried to say, he did say, Barack Obama is an Indonesian Muslim. So he's not just a Muslim, he's specifically Indonesian. He's also the racist in chief. It's a bizarre appearance. It really is a bizarre appearance. And Anderson Cooper did a pretty good job of just kind of exposing him for what he is, which is someone that probably shouldn't be on CNN. Let's take a listen.
What you say, but then I read on your blog, you say you call the president an Indonesian Muslim turned welfare thug and a racist in chief. I mean, is that the kind of...
That's the way he's behaving.
But
I mean, if he cares to be...
Do you believe he's Indonesian? Do you believe he's Muslim? Do you really believe he's a welfare thug?
He's certainly acting like it.
You think he's a racist in chief?
I mean, this president...
Racist in chief? Is that what you call it?
Until he embraces the whole country, what else can I conclude? He and guys like James are totally isolating the rest of this country. If you're a working class American, then that's it.
I tell you, if you're an American and you like what you're hearing from this guy, if you like celebrating a man's death, go over there with these people. Listen,
what man's death am I celebrating, James? How did you get on this Kennedy thing?
Because there are 1,000 signs, or over 1,000 signs.
James, it's awful hard to take this seriously.
Okay, this guy is completely nuts. I think it's abundantly clear. And when he's asked, do you believe Barack Obama is an Indonesian Muslim, he said he's acting like one. This guy must be one hell of a scholar, of a sociological expert, to be able to know not only how a Muslim acts, but how he can tell from what Barack Obama says and does that he's an Indonesian Muslim. Not just any Muslim, and not just Indonesian. He's an Indonesian Muslim. He can tell that. That's what Barack Obama is acting like. This is a bizarre guy. And it's always fun to see him, but he should really not be involved with any legitimate news agency, the least of which is CNN. I mean, you would expect to see this guy on Fox, but not CNN.
Well, when you say crazy things, it gets ratings. So
it does, yeah.
Expect to see more of this guy.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I'm being hypocritical if I say that there's no room for him, because we've had Shirley Phelps Roper from the God Hates Fags Westboro Baptist Church on, and certainly what she says isn't worthy of news coverage, but it is. There's high entertainment value, really high entertainment value. So I take that back. I would be hypocritical if I said that this guy shouldn't be on any kind of news agency, because I would love to have this guy on now that I think about it. I'm going the complete opposite way, Lewis. This guy should be on the news. He should be on every single channel. I love it. He should be on our show. Absolutely.